The Zelians took great pride in being the most advanced civilization in the known universe. Their crystalline forms shimmered with inner bioluminescence as they drifted gracefully through immaculate cities suspended in the clouds of their homeworld. While other species still struggled with basic arithmetic, the Zelians had already unlocked the secrets of quantum mechanics. Their technology was so far beyond comprehension that faster-than-light travel seemed to them no more remarkable than learning to tie one's shoes. Yet despite their dominance and triumphs, there existed one unshakable rule even the mighty Zelians never dared to break: do not wake the humans. It wasn't that humans looked terrifying, at least not at first glance. In truth, they seemed like ordinary biological beings who had only just begun to grasp interstellar travel. Before their great hibernation, it was said that humans had chosen cryosleep during their Third World War when their planet's resources were nearly exhausted. Now, vast colonies of them drifted silently through space in massive ships, sleeping away the centuries while automated systems ensured their survival. No, one knew the true reason behind the rule. It had simply existed for as long as anyone could remember. Passed down for generations, translated into countless languages, and upheld by every spacefaring race. Let the humans sleep. The galactic archives were filled with the same warning, repeated over and over. Chief Science Officer Zith brushed his crystalline limbs across the console of his research vessel, summoning a holographic display of the newly discovered human colony ship. His crew kept their distance in quiet respect. To them, the vessel was an antique, ancient beyond measure. Yet something about it made Zith's crystalline form hum with unease. Remarkable beings, he mused aloud, his voice resonating softly through his luminous body. They seem so calm while they sleep. Hard to believe they're the reason for our most sacred rule. But unease was justified. What should have been a simple scan, just an ordinary analysis, nothing more, would later force Zith to face the Emergency Council in shame. He had no ill intent, no intrusion, no risk. But his junior researcher, Zix, thought differently. Newly graduated from the Galactic Academy with top honors and an ego to match, Zix was fascinated by human biology. Their scans revealed something strange. Cryogenic systems running with a precision that defied even Zelian knowledge of thermodynamics. Just a tiny probe, Zix urged, his crystalline body vibrating with excitement. We won't touch the humans. Imagine the discoveries. Zith should have stopped him. The moment the probe was activated, the silent human ship stirred. Warning sirens flared on their monitors. What have you done? Zith's usually melodious voice fractured with panic. I don't know. The probe's quantum signal must have interfered with their cryogenic field, Zix stammered, his shimmering form paling into near transparency. On the view screen, cryopods lit up one after another, thousands of them, like stars igniting in the night sky. Ancient systems, flawless and terrifying, carried out a perfect awakening sequence. Emergency transmission to High Command, Zith ordered, his crystals flickering with alarm. Code Ultraviolet, Human Awakening in Progress, Sector 7. The response was immediate. Within moments, their vessel was surrounded by a fleet of Zelian warships, forming a containment grid around the human craft. The High Commander appeared on the comm screen, her crystalline body glowing with furious violet light. You cosmic fools, she roared, using an insult older than faster-than-light travel. Do you understand what you've unleashed? The humans were not meant to wake for another 1,000 years. Perhaps we can return them to cryo-sleep, Zith began, but the words were drowned out by alarms. The human ship's ancient engines were roaring back to life. Systems thought long dead activated with terrifying precision. Scans revealed brainwave activity, clear and undeniable. The humans were awake, and worse. They were angry. Too late. whispered the High Commander. Her glow dimmed to a somber hue. "They're awake. May the first light protect us all." In the chaos that followed, fleets mobilizing, evacuation orders spreading. Zix turned to Zith, his crystals dulled with dread. "I don't suppose this will look good on my performance review?" Moments later, the human ship broadcast across every known frequency in a language long forgotten. The message was short, clear, and destined to be remembered forever. "Who dares disturb our slumber?" During their slumber, one of humanity's favorite foods had gone extinct. The discovery triggered a tantrum so intense it caused 3 diplomatic aides to fracture and left another struggling to keep their crystalline form intact. "This is unprecedented," Ambassador Crystal reported privately to High Command. "They aren't trying to destroy us. They're not even threatening war. They're just complaining endlessly." The humans had begun organizing something they called a town hall meeting to air their grievances. The very concept horrified the diplomatic corps. Millions of irritated, freshly awakened humans gathering to complain at the same time. "We must intervene," Crystal pleaded. "They're talking about forming committees." But it was too late. The humans had discovered that their beloved entertainment platforms no longer existed. The phrase Netflix and chill began circulating with alarming hostility. Someone mentioned social media withdrawal, and the diplomats' translators nearly collapsed, trying to convey its emotional gravity. In desperation, Ambassador Crystal offered the humans control of several resort planets where they could relax until they felt ready to return to sleep. The human leader's reply would go down in diplomatic history as the shortest and most terrifying rejection ever recorded. "Bold of you to assume we'll ever feel ready to sleep again. Now, about those extinct pizza recipes." The Galactic Alliance quickly learned a bitter truth. A human with a grudge was dangerous, but a human with a grudge and no comfort food was catastrophic. Things worsened when the humans finally checked their messages. Centuries' worth of quantum encrypted mail. The Zelian High Council watched with dread as humanity's mood shifted from annoyance to something worse: amusement. "Let me get this straight," the human leader said, sipping their 15th cup of coffee at the Emergency Galactic Alliance session. "While we were napping, you all decided we went into cryosleep because we ran out of resources?" The High Commander dimmed uneasily. "According to our records." "Oh, this is priceless." Another human laughed, tears in their eyes. "They really don't know." The truth was far more absurd than anyone expected. Humanity hadn't gone into cryosleep due to scarcity. They had done it because they were bored. "We solved everything," the human leader explained, scrolling through old mission logs with glee. "Clean energy, world peace, universal health care, faster than light, travel. We even figured out why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch. There was simply nothing left to do." The so-called primitive colony ships were merely camouflage. The cryogenic pods were not for sleep, but for quantum consciousness storage devices. So advanced they made Zelian technology look like 2 stones clacked together. Humanity hadn't been resting. They'd been running universe-scale simulations, solving problems beyond imagination, and binge-watching every possible version of reality TV, and the famous warning, "Do not wake the humans." A human scientist grinned. "We wrote that, scattered it across the galaxy. Best prank ever. The revelation hit the Galactic Alliance like a supernova. Humans weren't a vulnerable species to be protected. They were cosmic pranksters taking an extended break. While asleep, they had mapped every timeline in existence, solved, and then resolved for fun, the unified theory of everything, created and abandoned 17 forms of social media, and even discovered the mystery of disappearing socks, though they kept that secret to themselves. When Zelian scientists examined the so-called primitive ship, they realized in shock they weren't looking at machinery at all. They were looking at human art projects, the equivalent of children's doodles. "But why pretend?" the High Commander asked, trembling. "Have you ever been the most advanced species in the galaxy? the human leader replied. It's exhausting. Everyone wants your help, your technology, your solutions. We just wanted a break. The final insult to the Alliance's pride came when they learned humans had achieved their advanced state before. Most species had invented the wheel. They'd simply watched others catch up, occasionally leaving anonymous helpful notes like, try pointing the rocket the other way or don't mix those chemicals. Think of it as a cosmic gap year, one human explained cheerfully. Except instead of backpacking, we took a few centuries off while you all played grown-up. The High Commander's report was blunt. We have not been protecting a primitive race. We have been unwitting participants in the longest-running social experiment in the universe. And now the experimenters are awake, caffeinated, and catching up on current events. What followed was chaos. Humans began reorganizing star systems for better views and shorter commutes. They introduced weekends, universal Wi-Fi, and a galactic food delivery service with a 30-minute guarantee. Zelian warships were retrofitted with coffee shops and yoga studios. Crystalline bureaucrats struggled with Hawaiian shirts on casual Fridays. Young species adored it. Meme wars erupted across galaxies. Hybrid human-alien clubs thrived. Even the terrifying void crawlers calmed down after being introduced to hot chocolate and bubble wrap. The new Galactic Order ran not on war or law, but on snacks, naps, and group therapy. Treaties were signed in beanbag-filled halls with pizza as mandatory negotiation fuel. The feared High Council transformed into a coffee club. Humans, it turned out, governed through chaos, and somehow it worked better than any system before. A year later, as Zith attended the annual review in a room full of recliners and endless, Snacks, the human leader, still in their bathrobe, now official diplomatic attire across 3 sectors, raised a mug of coffee. In our defense, they said, you all were doing fine, mostly. The council laughed uneasily. But then Zith noticed something alarming. The humans were yawning. All of them. You're not, he began. Oh, we are, the leader said, stretching. You know that feeling after a long nap? Awake for a while, then tired again? We're ready for round 2. The room froze in collective horror. You can't just go back to sleep, the High Commander cried. Watch us, the human leader smirked. Don't worry. This time we've left proper instructions, real ones. Though we might keep the old don't wake us rule, for nostalgia's sake. And so the galaxy braced itself for humanity's next great hibernation. The longest prank in cosmic history was about to repeat itself. As Zith watched preparations unfold, he couldn't help but laugh softly to himself. At least, he thought, they taught us how to make coffee before vanishing again. In the end, the universe's greatest truth was also its simplest. Sometimes, everyone just needs a good nap.